in Toronto, in Ontario, in Canada, we do not run away, we run to help others.
If I were to sum up his greatest attribute, it would be as the people's rabbi, because there's not a family in this congregation that he doesn't know, that he isn't in tune with.
He's a person who is a model of the caring rabbi who puts his people first at all times.
And I think that that's what he has accomplished here. He's made it a very warm, caring community.
His absolute commitment to trying to be the best human being he can be, and for him to help elevate others to be the best that they can be.
One of the things that he said right from the very beginning, that he wanted to increase women's involvement at Beth Tzedec. And over the years, he really has done that.
He not only prepared me for my conversion, I was converted at Beth Tzedec, I was married at Beth Tzedec, and we've been members ever since. He embodies the Judaism and the Jewish person that I want to be more like.
He has really been on the level that we had hoped he would be. And he's been a great asset to our shul.
He's a bit of a Chicago Cubs fan. I think he was going to declare a new Jewish holiday when they won the World Series.
Baruch's interests, passions, and his worldview date back to growing up in Chicago. His mom belonged to Reform Temple. He had a conservative Jewish upbringing, and he attended an Orthodox Jewish high school. That's where he and I met. It's no wonder he has a profound understanding and respect for all flavors of Judaism. He was immersed in the culture and politics of the late 60s. Nixon, the '68 Democratic National Convention, the Chicago 7, the RFK and Martin Luther King assassination. In 1969, we attended the moratorium in Washington, D.C. against the war in Vietnam. He grew up in Uptown, a fairly rough Chicago neighborhood. It gave him an appreciation for the underprivileged.
We actually met in 1968 at Chicago Jewish Youth Council Conference. And for the next 2 years, I was a student at the University of Illinois, and he was a student at Northwestern University. And we would see each other from time to time. There was a time their campus was more radical than ours.
At Northwestern, he was in a special program to train teachers to teach in ghetto schools. He cared about important causes and took part in a lot of protests. He started his studies at the Jewish Theological Seminary in 1972. In his last year, he became an interim rabbi at Ohev Shalom Synagogue in Albany, New York. Upon receiving his smicha, he was hired as Ohev Shalom's full-time rabbi. He remained in Albany for 16 years until the end of July 1993. That was the year we came to Toronto.
Rabbi Frydman-Kohl makes Beth Tzedec services a welcoming place to everyone.
He made a large shul very personal.
Smiling at everyone, shaking every single person's hand. He is by far the most welcoming person in the room.
Shaking hands with the rabbi as a 13-year-old kid was an experience that really, it inclined me not only to come here, but to feel warmly welcomed at Beth Tzedec. And it really showed that the fact that he knew everybody's name, this was a special guy, and I've never forgotten that.
A major accomplishment that stands out for me is that women have an aliyah.
I was the first female who led davening at Beth Tzedec, and it was a feeling of fullness, of shleimut, of we've arrived. We have now dignified people within the congregation. It was all because of Rabbi Frydman-Kohl.
Rabbi Baruch pastoral care is like no one else's. He never disappoints. He is there. He's there to hold a hand. He's there to hug. He's there to listen.
We've gone through life cycles with him. We've gone through births. We've gone through deaths.
Whenever you need Rabbi Frydman-Kohl, night or day, whatever the reason, Rabbi Frydman-Kohl is there for you, always.
When our son died about 3 years ago, Rav Baruch made himself instantly available to see us as soon as we called him, was tremendously supportive.
Rav Baruch, as a spiritual leader and as a teacher, accepts you for where you are and who you are.
He brought the Hartman Institute into Beth Tzedec, and that meant that the adult education that I was exposed to was at a level that I had never ever seen in adult education given at a synagogue.
Cineplex concept is a Rav Baruch invention as well.
Under Rabbi Frydman-Kohl's leadership, we were able to develop various services on a Shabbat morning that addressed various cohorts' needs within the synagogue.
People feel warm and embraced, regardless if we're in the chapel, in the little minyan, which is in the boardroom, or on Rosh Hashanah here in the services.
His singing ability? Well, there's the stereotype that rabbis can't sing. Yeah, he fits that stereotype.
He's known for his bow ties. I mean, there's no question about that. But also his love, his fanatical love for the Chicago Cubs.
He goes a little overboard in the costume department for Purim. He takes it very seriously.
He is always on his cell phone.
The guy's on his cell phone a lot.
Are your sermons putting your congregation to sleep? Do your pastoral skills leave something to be desired? Are you simply not cutting it as a clergy person? Then you need Baruch Frydman-Kohl's Secrets of Being a Great Rabbi Home Study Program. Rav Baruch honed his rabbinical skills for 26 years at Beth Tzedec, a tough crowd if there ever was one. All his secrets are contained in this step-by-step, easy-to-follow guide, including that dressing up like a baseball player gives you street cred, that nothing says spirituality like a good Talmudic Super Bowl prediction.
Seahawks will win today.
You will become a great spiritual leader within just 4 weeks of sending away for this program. Sound too good to be true? Just listen to this actual testimonial.
My rabbinic career was going nowhere until I sent away for the Baruch Frydman-Kohl Home Study Program. And wouldn't you know it, I was promoted within 10 days to be the senior rabbi of Holy Blossom Temple. Thanks, Baruch.
Still not convinced? Listen to this.
Not everyone takes me seriously as a rabbi because of my boyish good looks. But I learned from Rav Baruch's course that a mustache can make you look both older and wiser. And so I plan on wearing my Baruch stash to Adeth Israel this Shabbat and expect standing room only crowds.
You don't even have to be Jewish to benefit from Baruch's course. Just listen to this.
So there I was, an unemployed Tanakh scholar, flipping burgers at McDonald's. And then I sent away for Rabbi Baruch Frydman-Kohl's Home Study Program. And within a few weeks, I was General Secretary of the Canadian Council of Churches.
To receive your copy of the Home Study Program, send $26 to BFK Enterprises, care of Beth Tzedec, or phone 1-800-BE-GREAT.
Rav Baruch was an incredible representative of Beth Tzedec.
Go to the cold, habitat of humanity, and even in North America as a conservative leader.
In this season, after elections and before the new Congress, we ask that you give these senators and our government the wisdom to avoid the exclusions of either or, and to embrace the blessings of both and.
It didn't matter if it was at a community event in Toronto, or an interfaith event, or at a convention in Israel.
Rabbi Frydman-Kohl served on the Rabbinic Council. He served on the UJ Federation Board. He served on CJA, and he is a fantastic communicator.
He brings people together in good times and in bad, but he is always there as a calming, sane voice, bringing out the very best in our community.
He was the builder of the bridges between the interfaith communities.
The primary thing that Baruch and I have been involved in together was called the Paths of Abraham, and it was a study tour, Jews, Christians, and Muslims together in Israel and Palestine, the West Bank, traveling together and experiencing together and learning from each other all the complex issues in a complex place.
I've always been very proud to be associated with Rabbi Baruch for his leadership and openness in building bridges, that I myself was given the opportunity to speak from the pulpit right here, give a sermon.
Over the many years we've known one another, I treasure most personal occasions spent with you and Gisette, like Pesach in Albany and in Jerusalem.
So Baruch, a huge mazel tov to you. But I hope we can all continue to learn from you and to walk in your path.
You are quite simply one of the most impressive rabbis I have ever met. To talk to you is to get wisdom about the life of Jewish communities. It's also to get ideas and books and go back and forth between the nitty-gritty of how one runs a successful congregation and how this fits into the larger picture of Judaism and Jewish life. Baruch, I'm going to miss you.
Rabbi Baruch is the quintessential rabbinical and communal leader.
Thank you for hosting us here at Beth Tzedec for our Memorial Day ceremony year after year. Thank you for working so closely with us at the Israeli Consulate. You're a true friend. And thank you for doing everything in the spirit of Ahavat Israel, the state and the people. Good luck to you.
Thank you so much for all the guidance over these last 3 years, for your wisdom, for your advice, for taking me under your wing. And thank you for that incredible evening at Beth Tzedec. It will remain one of the highlights of my career. I look forward to seeing you soon for Shabbat here in Israel. Best to you and your wonderful family and incredible congregation.
We're very happy that you'll be with us in Jerusalem.
We're so proud of all that you've accomplished and wish you much fulfillment in the new chapter of life that you're starting.
We love you, Saba.
Hey, Abba. We've been at Beth Tzedec since I was 6 years old. I remember playing tag, throwing paper airplanes, and climbing trees in and around the synagogue. We've become a part of so many people's lives, and they've become a part of ours. Congratulations on making it to 26 years here.
Thanks for all that you've done for our family and Beth Tzedec.
Funerals, babies, and weddings, services, and all sorts of things.
For it's root for the rabbi. If he's off key, it's a shame.
Now it's off to mediation.
You're out of the rabbi game. We love you, Abba.
This is Cole Hamels. I'd just like to wish Rabbi Kohl happy retirement, enjoy Toronto, and all the best.
My only disappointment is that you continue to root for those dastardly Chicago Cubs and not for our Toronto Blue Jays, but there's still time. Other than that, you're a great guy.